Hey everybody, it's Bob Crossan, Senior Managing Editor for Water and Waste Digest. Today I have with me Manish Sharma. He is Industry Marketing Leader for Energy and Water for Emerson Machine Automation Solutions, and we're going to talk a little bit about digital transformation for utilities. So Manish, thank you so much for being on call. Thank you so much for making the time.
Thanks, Bob, for having me here.
Yeah, so in this article, we have an article from you this month in September. In your article, you discuss the importance of digital transformation for utilities. Can you elaborate on why that is so important, especially right now?
So, if you look at the digital transformation, all the industries are going through the digital transformation. It's made possible by the advances in the process control industry, the computer science industry, which is fundamentally the data science aspect. So as the capabilities and the processing power and the hardware gets better and better, you can do more from the available tools. So in terms of the water industry, what basically happens is you have the business KPIs and you want to reduce the non-revenue water, you want to get more digitization in terms of the what you view in the process, from where you can view the remote monitoring capabilities, on the go capabilities on the mobile devices. So all these things are basically transforming the business of delivering better water in an uninterrupted manner and at a lower cost. We will come to the cost aspect at some point of time, but the real key driver is to reduce the operational cost, because the water is provided by the municipal authorities, which is the federal or the state or the municipal budget, depending upon where we are talking about. And it's always a key driver in terms of reducing the cost. Mm-hmm. So digital transformation helps utilities achieve the business KPIs. Technology helps you achieve the business KPIs.
Yeah, so what are some of the key areas that utilities are focusing on when it comes to their digital transformations? Are there things they're starting to hone in on now, and where do you think that'll go?
So if you look at the different RFQs and the different specifications that are coming up in different parts of the world, there is a buzz around the smart cities, and there is a concept of smart water. And what we are seeing is there is a journey of digital transformation or digitization, and some people call it IIoT in water industry. It starts with the monitoring of the data. And that's where the control system, especially the edge connected control system, comes into picture, where you have a lot of data being generated from the plant, goes to the cloud. There is predictive analytics and data science algorithms that work on it and gives you the insights which will drive the process. So one of the key aspects that utilities are focusing on is setting up the infrastructure to basically take the next step. And the key utility from that infrastructure is coming in terms of the remote monitoring capability, better viewing, better trending. The next stage, which some utilities have started going to, is how to utilize that terabytes of data that is being generated. And that is where the real game starts in terms of using that data, because having an infrastructure which churns out the data and not making sense out of it or not reducing your expenses out of it is counterproductive. Mm-hmm. Somebody got to pay for all the instrumentation that you do.
What are three crucial aspects utilities should keep in mind when moving to a smart water framework or making that digital transformation?
So the three aspects that I would say is monitoring, is diagnosis of the data that comes into picture, and the prediction of the equipment health and the way process is running. These are the three, but these are not, I'm talking about only the top three. There is more about self-learning and optimization of the process that goes along with it, but those are advanced stages. And the utilities at this point of time are more interested in setting up the infrastructure. And so once they start monitoring, they will go to the diagnosis phase and then the prediction and optimization phase. So what they should focus on getting the infrastructure in place in terms of better instrumentation, all the data that they think impacts the process output of a water treatment plant is what is the ppm, or what exactly is the effluent property, and how much sewage is basically separated out. In terms of the water filtration plant or drinking water plant, it would be the quality of the water that comes out and how much of the water is wasted in terms of the transportation. So these are the parameters that they need to store, monitor, have trends. Those are the basics of the control system. The second aspect would be, going into the diagnosis phase. Where is the energy consumption high? How much water am I losing in terms of the leaky pipes? What is the workforce that is required? That's a very important concept. What's the workforce that is required to run this infrastructure? Do I have to invest more? Do I have to train people more? Because this is a new way of looking at things. So these are the key aspects. Then after diagnosis, we go to prediction. Prediction and diagnosis are somewhat tightly linked because once you diagnose, you want to predict when my machine is failing. The whole subject of condition-based monitoring, having condition-based maintenance schedule comes into play here. You don't want a frequent trip to the plant if you can only go when it is required, especially in the times of COVID, where the social distancing and the workforce quarantining is going on. It's very difficult to have a normal way of managing it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the other interesting part here is like the training aspect, like personnel at a plant. What are some tools, or where should utilities look to provide tools to their employees to make them better trained to use these systems as effectively as possible? Because as we all know, bad data in, bad analytics out. So
it's garbage in, garbage out, GIGO. So
yeah.
That's all right. So very interesting question. And there are multiple aspects to it in terms of training. One is the product training. I mean, if somebody is using a machine automation solution, Edge Controller, CPL 410, one of the best ways to get trained is go to the website, look at the data sheet. There are videos around it, or contact our training partners. That's what can happen. If you're using somebody else's, I'm sure the process is same. But I would like to break it into a different concept. I would like to break it into operators, application engineers, and business analysts.
Okay.
So operators needs to understand, for example, our SCADA simplicity. What powers does it have? What can you view? What more can you do? How does it make operating a plant better? Can I have alerts? Can I have remote alerts? Can I basically have the dashboard on the go? Can I take it on my handheld device and basically see? And now, can I operate it? Or what is the cybersecurity aspect of it? Because the more the data is online, there is more is an issue about whether there is a breach or not. These are mission critical installations. A township or a municipality is being serviced by this plant. It may not look so big, but for that township, it is a very mission critical plant. So operator training is definitely one thing. Operators need to be able to articulate better about what dashboards do they need, etc., etc. Second aspect is application engineers. So we have Prophecy Machine Edition, and then you can have different algorithms that you can create, or you can contact our channel partners, etc. And if it is some other competitors' products, it's the same thing. So application engineers need to know what they can do with the tool. And then the methodology of how to get trained basically falls into place. Every OEM like us basically will have a method to train your operators and your application engineers. The third category is business analyst. So who is going to pay for this whole smart water? Business analysts need to understand what benefits are they getting. See, I told you it's a journey. You start, CIO has a mandate, CEO talked about it, we need to digitize our operations. And then you go for a phase one, and then you decide whether I can go for a phase two or not. What are the ROI elements? Am I getting the return on investment? That's when the business analysts need to understand what this system can do. And this may be a 10,000 feet view or whatever. They don't need to understand how to configure a strategy, but they should definitely know. And they should definitely know what they can do with the system. And that's where, again, the people who supply the automation will definitely help. Mm-hmm. All the three layers should be in sync. They should be trained. That's the digital transformation, key elements of knowing what exactly each person can do. In terms of, the specific elements of training, it's definitely companies like us that provide.
Yeah, so you got to break it down into each of those little buckets so that they get the training they
Exactly.
need that's effective for them.
Focus
Yeah,
training for everybody. You cannot put everybody in the same room and expect, that their needs are met. Operators and application engineers and business analysts have different needs.
yeah, yeah. So one of the other things we've noticed too this year is it seems pretty clear that coronavirus has kind of accelerated a lot of this digital transformation for many utilities, looking to get more remote systems so that they can social distance easier and whatnot. How do you think that acceleration that we've seen so far this year will translate into 2021 and beyond?
So this whole situation has basically changed the way we do business and the way things are run. And nobody expected this, but everybody has responded very well, which is very good. I was reading an article on the magazine as to how one of the desalination plant employees basically quarantined themselves in the facility because they cannot afford to get infected. And there was a real need, and utilities are responding. We are in touch with many utilities across, and they are responding to an accelerated need for remote monitoring, remote control, getting better digitization. Government has also responded. Bureau of Reclamation in US, for example, has a program called Water Smart. Water Smart is sustain and manage America's resources for tomorrow. And there is another act, WIFIA, WIFIA. There is a multi-billion-dollar investment going on. Now, this is not going to get exhausted in 2020. Anyway, it was going to happen. The government, in terms of quantitative easing, is pouring money. Municipalities are basically taking out the money that they have, and we see some serious action going forward. In fact, our assessment as a business is that a lot of activity will eventually fructify in 2021 and 2022 because all the money that is flowing in the industry and all the plans that are being, at this time, some may be in drawing boards, some which were lacking funding are getting accelerated, but the real thrust will come in 2021. Coronavirus impact will wane away, money would be there, and there would be a need to spend. Plus, the infrastructure need to be ready for more, how to respond to this whole social distancing thing better. Another aspect of spending money in this direction is, if you look at the aging workforce is aging, the technology is new, the way to do things are new, the tools are new, the power of SCADA, the control system, something like CPL410 of Amazon getting connected to the cloud, and then it is hypervised to have Linux on one side and control engine on another side. What do you do with this? How do you use this? And you cannot have a talk about digital transformation and monitoring the data because monitoring is basic control system. The real beast is in the data science and how do you crunch the data and how do you do the analytics on the edge of the control. And that's where, the edge controller comes into picture. Those things will eventually start coming into play because you cannot have a transformation without digitizing more and what to do more with the data. These are very tightly linked concepts. And so, to your question, 2021 and 2022 is going to be very, very interesting. There is a lot of money that has been approved by the Senate and across all the utilities in US and I'm seeing in Asia and Europe also there is a push towards getting infrastructure ready because government spending usually focuses on infrastructure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's good to hear. I think that a lot of people would be happy to hear that the money will be out there. It's just a matter of how we're going to use it.
Yeah, that's true. And the first agenda on the plate is how to digitize better.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. Well, thank you so much, Manish, for talking with us about this. Again, we have an article from Manish on our website. You can read the full article, similar content about this digital transformation on www.dmag.com. So definitely check that out. And thanks again, Manish, for being with us on this call today.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks for the opportunity and great to be here. Have a good day.